PJ Stock, one of my favorite people, former Bruin, is joining us on the show. We're bringing him in right away because I think, Peach, if we can get him up, I think he has a call. He does a lot of things. He has many jobs, but I think he's supposed to be working. And he joined us, tuned in out of another Zoom. PJ, I don't know what you're doing just to join us. So thanks for joining us and jeopardizing your career.
Thank you. I'm from Zoom to Zoom. And hi, Soph, and partner, champ over there, Adam. Good seeing you.
Good to see you, my friend.
Last time Adam and I saw each other, we won the BFIT Challenge for the Bruins Foundation. No biggie. We don't need to start off coming out of the gates hot, but
it's fine.
Just saying hi to my partner.
No, actually, we were going to end with the segment with that. So might as well, you open your big mouth and brought it up. Adam got a belt. You got a trophy. I wasn't there. I did it with Jaffe and Razor. I think that was my group. I didn't win anything.
So
I know. I do remember not winning. Don't worry.
Yeah.
How'd you guys win? Like your group won?
Yeah, so we had the opportunity of they did. John Whiteside's strength coach from us with the Bruins is now doing some amazing stuff for the Bruins Foundation, and they put on an event every year where it's to help bring funds and awareness for first responders. And there he is with the belt, Adam. And we got the opportunity of leading out the firefighters, which was Adam, I don't even know how many people there were. I don't know how many we had just for the firefighters, but it's an event where this year they raised over $1 million, just this event alone. And they make obstacle courses through up and down the stairs at the rink. And Adam and I led out the firefighters, and they're just heroes, on their daily job, and they're heroes about raising funds for their kind, for people that they save, and they're people in their same community. So it was awesome. Adam led us, and we had to keep up to him, and it was. I'm still recovering. I'm still recovering. He was just gone, gone, and I was like, everyone else was like, hey, what's going on with this guy? So we won, but Adam won. So we were happy to be part of it. A great event. Anything for the Bruins Foundation, John Whiteside's, and great. Adam was out there. It is amazing to see what that community, sports community, is really special. That first responder community is something really, really special as well. There's another hockey event coming up in June, which I'm coming down for. And any way I can help out with the Bruins alumni and foundation I'm in. So
yeah, just and just from my perspective, that was the first BFIT Challenge that I took part in. Obviously, I'd heard about the event and seen all the first responders take part in it. It was great running with you, man. We got out of the gates hot. We motivated each other along the way. I think you were chirping.
I kept saying, slow down, slow down.
Well, I mean, at least on the steps, man. Like you cruised through the steps. You might have burnt out a little bit, I think, on the steps, because when we got to that third level or fifth level, actually, when we were going by like the suites, I think that's when I started to sort of, all right, I got to pick up the pace a little bit. And I don't think you were ready to do that.
And a guy that spent most of his career in the stands, I should have known where the peaks and valleys are. I just know where the restaurants and the bathrooms are. I should have known where yeah, it was good. Anyways, we survived. You saw Adam got the belt for us. Anyways, we can talk about that. No time. Come on, Soap, take control of this thing.
I'm trying. I mean, I don't know. I've been dying to have you on as a guest since the day I joined Essen 6 years ago, and now I'm eating my words. I wanted to start by saying something, a bit of an inside joke, which I was going to get into, but I wanted PG to come on camera, and I was going to say, dude, you look bloated, which is an inside joke, okay, that we have. And I'm just going to get into it really quick. Obviously, fans know PJ Stock from playing for the Boston Bruins and several NHL teams. But you and I got to know each other at Sportsnet when we both did things for Hockey Night in Canada. And like Adam, you probably remember your younger days when you were starting on TV, especially if you ever, you probably started small and then you finally get onto a big show. That was it for me. Hockey Night in Canada is like the dream, right? It's the dream since you're 6 years old. And I got to do these little social segments, but I'm nervous.
It's Monday Night Football. It's Monday Night Football, Adam, to Americans. It's Monday Night Football, and Soph is coming on all ready to rock and roll. And go ahead, Soph.
Yeah, so coming on all ready to rock and roll. And before every single show, like the count, PJ's got an IFB. There's a count where they're counting from 1 minute, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever. He would wait until about 5 seconds before I go live. And I'm like in heels. My ankles are like shaking every time. And he would just turn around and say, "You look bloated," all the time to make me, I guess, comfortable, uncomfortable. And I'd be standing there super stressed. But actually, I loved it. That's my humor. That's how I get comfortable. Someone can poke fun, like the hockey chirps. But I remember, PJ, didn't our wardrobe, like Deborah, kind of come up to you and say, "Don't do that. You're making her nervous." And she
it was your first time, and it's like, again, I have the luxury of, I played hockey, and a lot of the guys that are still playing, and it's kind of, even if I don't watch it, I still digest it really well. And you were having to digest it, do the camera thing, everything, and the stand here, do this. And I remember when I first started, and now, like you said, I'm a couple of years into it, so a little bit more relaxed. And so I'm just getting ready, and she's got, okay, Marchand 4 goals, birthday, okay, and they're playing, okay, ready, and just as 5, 4, and I reach over her, so I wouldn't have worn those shoes with that dress, so 2, 1, and she looks down, and it's like, so yeah, we had lots of fun. Lots of fun. And it's kind of like, it's funny. So we were on that show, and then what happened to TV in Canada, it's funny enough, it's going to happen to basketball this year a little bit, the way TNT has a national program, I guess, with Shaq and Barkley, and I don't even know what their segment's called, but it's the TNT halftime report or whatever it is with that. But, now it's being bought over, I believe, by ESPN. So that whole thing, that's kind of how TV shifted in Canada. Sportsnet's now there. Sophia and I are no longer there. As I'm in my basement right now with my bobblehead, just hanging out. But yeah, we had some fun times starting off. So now that's our relationship. I'm a winner with Adam, and
there you go. I know we're gonna hang on to that trophy and that belt for as long as we can, man. We weren't invited back, maybe because we just did so well that they didn't want to, compete against us again.
I go down every year. This is the first year I haven't made it. So I had. Again, I started off the segment. I had a ton of stuff going on. I could not make it. I was going to have to leave at 2 a.m. to get, anyways, no flight. So I did not make it, but I'm coming down for the hockey event this June. So looking forward to it. But yes, Adam, to your point, we did win and crush everybody else's souls.
It was great.
They probably didn't invite us back.
It was great.
Well, speaking of hockey, we obviously can just, shoot the, all hour or all 20 minutes that we have before.
What are we allowed to do? I have a question. Are we I can't get fired by you guys, right? So we can pretty much say whatever we want. How does this work?
Yeah.
So I can't get fired. Can we swear? What's this word?
We used to have this pod used to be pre-recorded, and I'm pretty sure we could, but we're live now on Nest Nation, by the way. We're live now on Nest Nation, Mondays and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. But I don't know. I haven't a little faster or my mouth a little faster than my brain, but I can get fired. So I'm going to save the swearing until I can verify that it can be done. So maybe leave it out. But no, I can shoot the breeze. We can shoot the breeze as long as we want.
Okay.
But you did play hockey, You're not just a joker. You did play hockey. So we kind of wanted your opinion on a couple of things. These playoff series, super fun to watch. We can get into whatever you want to get into, but first, just want your opinion on I was going to say Ty Domi, on the Max Domi late hit, Aleksander Barkov. I think we're still waiting to see if there's going to be discipline, blah, blah, blah. What did you think?
There'll be no discipline. Again, sorry, I'm new to this, but people that are watching, can they actually see the hit? Or do you want me to explain to what happened? Are people going to see the hit? Or
why don't you explain it? Explain it, yeah.
Tail end of the game, there's kind of a scrum on the wall, and two guys are kind of fighting for, imagine, one's holding the other. Aleksander Barkov is just kind of on the outside with the stick, kind of reaching in and really not involved with the play whatsoever. And the clock's ticking down 3, 2. And just as it's about to run, Max Domi comes in from behind and it hits Barkov, playing in the numbers. A dirty hit, yes. A violent hit, no. So it is a penalty. And he hit him straight in the numbers. And Barkov goes kind of face first into the boards, but there's distance there. And it's a dirty, cheap shot. But if any player from the Bruins did it to any other player on any other team at the tail end of a game in a playoff series, it'd be like, yeah, you're leaving your mark and getting, it's a 7-game series. It's a penalty for sure. It's a penalty that he's not really going to get penalized. The league has to say to themselves, we all know what he did. We all know why he's doing it. Barkov kind of should have known why this is coming, or it could potentially happen, because it would have, if Brad Marchand's doing it the other way to Matthews, that would have happened. We all know it's dirty. We all know it's a penalty, but it's playoffs. So unfortunately, for people thinking I'm archaic and a little old in my thinking, that's kind of what it is when it's 7-game series. You got to win 4. You kind of give your licks whenever you possibly can. It was a dirty hit in a game. He would have got 2 minutes. If Barkov stays down 5, if he's injured, maybe suspended. But in reality, all it was a hit late to the numbers, and he's going to get the league will definitely call him and say you can't do that. But I don't think there'll be any supplemental discipline whatsoever. And do I like the move? I personally like the move, only because game's not over till it's over in the playoffs. It kind of goes into the locker room where the boys now have something to play off, to talk about besides the loss. So, and then you have Florida on the flip side. They won, but they're thinking about the cheap shot. So it's a lot of these things are, it's not a sprint. Sometimes it's a marathon, and so many times the ebbs and flows, the highs and lows are not just the game, but how you think about each game. And I don't mind it. So I don't mind that play. I know it's a penalty, and everyone probably wants him to be penalized, but the game's over. So he's going to get a call. Adam, what do you guys?
Well, no, I mean, I agree with you. I don't think there will be a suspension involved. I mean, again, it's the postseason. And when you mentioned Brad Marchand, I was thinking about last year's postseason when Marchand, obviously still with the Bruins, playing the Panthers, the rabbit punch from Sam Bennett, right?
Yeah.
And so you heard from Marchand said, look, this is the postseason. I expect that kind of thing. I might have done the same thing. So these guys expect that kind of thing. But I wanted to sort of transition back to the series itself, right? You have the Maple Leafs, and going into the postseason, I really liked. Actually, going into the year, I liked the Leafs only because of the change behind the bench.
Are you allowed to say that?
No.
In
terms,
like, how does that work?
I am allowed to say that objectively. Okay. Not that I like them, that I'm passionate about them. I like them as a team and how they're put together and how they're constructed. Just to clarify, thanks for calling me out on that, by the way. But in terms of their roster construction and the change behind the bench and Craig Berube adding some sandpaper to that team, some toughness, right? The skill was there, but they needed that extra element. Obviously, the goaltending as well with Stolarz and what he's done. He's out now, so Joseph Woll played well, by the way. But going into the postseason, I thought I liked the Leafs, and getting out to that 2-0 lead over the Panthers in that series, I'm thinking, okay, this could be. But now we're reminded why the Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions, right? They don't get rattled. They come back. They tie the series. And I think Sergei Bobrovsky has now elevated his game, PJ.
Yeah, I think he's got 31 saves in a row. Going back to, I got to give love to the coach, first off. And Craig Berube is a former teammate of mine and just a great guy. And he's one of those guys that could talk the talk and walk the walk. He played the game, and he played the physical part of the role. So it kind of gives him a little bit more street cred with some of those guys. So he can speak to the top players, and then all those bottom tier guys automatically hop on. So that's what makes him really special. He's able to get the third and fourth line guys to play their style, but he's also able to get those first top 6 forwards to learn the sacrifices physically that have to be made, which they weren't doing before under the old regime. Like Austin Matthews blocking shots, Mitch Marner doing some stuff that they wouldn't have normally done years ago. And maybe it's the maturity of them as well. They have been around for a few years now, but I also think, when you mentioned the grit that they've added, so the Craig Berube part 1, and they have players that I think this is the most prepared team coach-wise and physically that the Leafs have had in a while. And you're right. Like we just talked about, we started a segment off talking about the Domi hit on Barkov and the physicality of the playoffs. They went and picked up I'm talking about the Leafs, pick up Tanev, add some grit to the back end. I think a player, everyone talks about the big 4, but Matthew Nyes as a young player is just a big body that could do some real powerful things and have great hands. So it used to be the top 4, but now it's, I'd say Nyes can hop in there and almost be a top 5, and he has the physicality. Their goaltending's been great. Stolarz was 1-11 in a row going into the playoffs, and the depth that they have as well comes in, and he kind of stands on his head. So I did think that whoever won the Florida Tampa series was going to walk through this conference. To your point, you liked them early. I did not. I'm very impressed by the way they've been able to play this year in the playoffs, and kudos to Craig Berube for getting them prepared, and kudos for the guys for buying in, because they look like, to your point, a completely different team, but it's 2-2 now. So, yeah, Florida Panthers are the champs, but the Leafs are proving that they can play with the champs.
Stop me if you've heard this before, but I feel like Leafs Nation is always like, it's different this year. It does feel different, to your point. And then it's actually not. But more question before we let you go. Just to your points, guys. Yes, the grit is there, but that's also built through experience, which you guys know. Like a Marner, Matthews, Nylander 2-3 years ago, younger, inexperienced, dealing with controversy between teammates, dealing with the pressure.
Yeah, but so
jump in.
The grit is something that I don't care. Those guys that played for 15 years and never understood that part of the game, or were willing to make those sacrifices. It's a big difference. You need people sometimes to drag you into the fight for you to understand that you're capable of doing it. And a great example is, I'll go back to my days with the Bruins, and we had some players that didn't love the physicality of the game. Like, there were some guys that, PJ Axelson, I was the better looking PJ. He was on the team. We had 2 PJs. But Axie was, and Sergei Samsonov, these are guys that played in Europe that were uber talented, but didn't love the physicality of the game because the way they grew up playing it. But the way our style and the timing was really different. I remember one night, I believe it's against Ottawa, Sergei Samsonov ends up getting into a fight. We had just had like a 5-on-5 fight, and it boils over, and he wouldn't have done that before, but it takes some moment for him to do it. And then once he does it, he's like, oh, I can kind of do this. The coach is like, don't do it anymore, but it's still, you need sometimes a moment to bring you into that fight, to bring you into that moment for you to get that experience, because it's not just time. Like, time, you have to be able to do it, be able to say, hey, I can do this, and then add it to your strengths as a hockey player. So yeah, those guys, the Marners, they were there, but it took them blocking shots and someone saying you could do this over and over for them to be able to do it and be like, I can do this. And now back to your point, it's been years, but it's those experiences. And I think this year, that first round really gave them a little bit of swagger to say, I can do this. And now they're playing with the champs.
And I know, Peach, you Montreal, so like you see the zoo of the media, but let's just not forget, like, I know players aren't trying to read, trying to figure it out, but trying to ignore Toronto media, but it's different there. It is just insane, thing wrong. And that also takes years and a little bit of I guess, I don't know if you want to call it practice or just tuning that out. So that whole, like, especially when Ottawa was kind of coming back, like, my phone was blowing up. I'm sure yours was, of people being like, oh, the Leafs are doing it again. They're blowing it again. Like, they just got to, forget that narrative that's been going for 20, 25 years.
You can't just forget it, though. That's the problem. Back to my point. You have to you have to find a way. The problem is you have to find a way to change the narrative. You have to change the way you go about doing whatever you've been doing. That's the thing. So it's easy to say, just forget about it. You can't forget about it until you find a way to forget about it. So they found a way to do it, and that's by winning. So it's... Go ahead, Adam. Sorry.
No, I was just going to thank you for being here, man. I think our time with you is ended.
Am I fired already? I'm not fired.
Yeah,
right?
no.
Can I come back? Or?
Yeah, it was
You're done.
It was actually the comment you made about my Leafs comment and the Bruins affiliation.
Yeah, reminding people,
I didn't like that very much. But hey, I do want to
big Leafs fans.
I do want to say one thing. Happy almost birthday, man. It's a milestone birthday. You can go on Hockey DB, Hockey
25.
Reference, and you can see how old you're turning. So Hope you have big
thanks
plans,
for
man.
bringing that up. Is that how we end this? Telling everyone I'm old?
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, I'm just gonna have
why?
people. I didn't say the age.
I'll
Did I say the
change the
age?
lighting. I'll change the lighting. The overhead lighting doesn't really do me justice. I'm telling you.
You look great,
No,
buddy.
you look
Thanks.
bloated. I told you.
You look great. Hey, get that cardio
went with
in.
black. I should have wore black. All right, guys. Congrats on your first live show, and keep kicking butt. So, and go Bruins, go.
Thanks, Peach. We'll have you on again soon.
Oh, I'm busy.
PJ Stock joining us. Thanks very much. We appreciate it.